Good morning. Test, test.
I can hear you.
Great. Thank you so much.
What am I sharing? Oh, I have all these buttons. You just stay quiet as a mouse if you can over there.
Ms. Ross, just so you know, you're unmuted, so everyone on the call and on the webcast can hear you right now. If you might want to mute yourself until the hearing starts.
How was that?
The phone.
With them?
Yeah. They're not on here yet.
Okay, I'm going to mute you until the hearing starts. So if you need something, you can unmute, but just so there's not feedback or anything, I'm going to mute you until the hearing starts.
This is everything I ate the morning of my glucose test.
Tracy, are you ready?
Good morning, I'm ready.
Good morning, thanks. Okay, good morning, everyone. My name is Harris Adams. I'm the administrative law judge assigned to hear proceeding number 24G-0194HHG. This matter comes on for a hearing pursuant to decision R24-0542I. Call the hearing to order and first let you know that if at any time during today's hearing I should mispronounce a name or refer to someone by an incorrect gender pronoun, I apologize in advance and mean no disrespect. Please correct me and I will do my best to get it right from then on in hearing. And with that, I'll start with entries of appearance on behalf of staff.
Good morning, Your Honor. Jennifer Hayden, Assistant Attorney General with the Department of Law. With me is co-counsel Ailing Chong, also with the Department of Law, representing trial staff. With us for trial staff, the investigations unit today is Lloyd Swint and Joseph Potts.
Morning. Excuse me. And on behalf of Michelle Maria Rojas and Margarito B. Rojas, doing business as Mean Momma Boss, B1tch Moving. Who's here today?
Mhm.
Ma'am, if you would please tell me your name.
Michelle Rojas.
Okay. And are you the only one here today for
No,
the
my husband's here.
respondents? Okay.
I'm here.
Okay, and sir, what's your name, please?
Alberto Rojas.
Okay. Thank you very much. I'm sorry, sir, if you're going to speak, I need you to get closer to the microphone. I didn't hear you that time.
Oh, he told me to tell you he was just going to sit back and be quiet until he was needed.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Alberto
All right,
Rojas.
then.
I'm trying to keep the adults quiet, sir.
Thank you. Okay, is there anything, any preliminary matters we need to address before we get going? Hearing none, then we will begin with the staff presenting their case. They have the burden of proof and the opportunity to first present evidence, and the last opportunity to present evidence because they carry that burden of proof. As we go through the proceeding, Ms. Rojas, I'll look to you. You can, you'll be, if you have any, or Mr. Rojas, if you raise any objections to any testimony, that type of thing, I'll be asking you about that as we go through. You will have an opportunity to ask questions of every witness that staff calls. And then once staff is done presenting their case, you'll have an opportunity to call any witnesses that you would like to call and to testify yourselves. And so with that, I'll turn it over to Ms. Hayden. You call your first witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. Staff calls Mr. Joseph Potts to the stand.
Good morning, Mr. Potts. If you would please raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. Ms. Hayden.
Good morning. Can you please state and spell your name for the record?
Joseph Potts, Josephpotts.
Who is your current employer?
The Colorado Public Utilities Commission,
And what is your job title?
criminal investigator.
And how long have you been with the PUC?
About 2.5, 3 years now.
And do you have any prior law enforcement experience?
Yes, I was a sheriff's deputy for 15 years for the city and county of Denver prior to coming to the state.
Did you investigate a moving company by the name of Mean Momma Boss Bitch Moving?
Yes, I did.
Why were you investigating Mean Momma?
A complaint had been filed against the company.
And who did you receive the complaint from?
A man by the name of Troy Regals.
And based on your investigation, why did Mr. Regals make or file a complaint with the PUC?
Mr. Regals had told me that he was going through some hard times, was actually going through an eviction. He needed a moving company to help him relocate from his home here in Aurora up near Wellington, I believe. So he jumped on Craigslist and was able to locate an advertisement for this company on Craigslist. Upon contacting them, he was agreeable to their terms and conditions, which were to supply 2 moving trucks with movers for about $1,500 to help him move his stuff. Somewhere along the way, well, actually on day one, he said that when the employees arrived to help him move, they only showed up with 1 moving truck. And when he confronted the employees about it, they told him that the truck had broken down and suggested that he just pack up all of his valuable items at that time, and they would come back for the remaining property. After that, the following day, he contacted the moving company and was given instructions on how to pay them through a wire transfer service at Walmart. Once that was completed, he never heard anything from the moving company. And when he contacted them again, he was informed that he owed additional monies that he was not aware of and couldn't afford the remaining $600 they were asking to complete the move. So he felt at that point that his property was being held hostage and he didn't know what to do. And he started filing complaints with just about every agency he could find.
Okay, thank you, Investigator Potts. Let's break this down a little bit. Did Mr. Regal file complaints anywhere else?
Yes, he did.
With whom did he file other complaints with?
The Better Business Bureau and the Arapahoe County Sheriff's Office.
Okay. And were you ever in contact with the Arapahoe County Sheriff's Office in regards
Yes, I was.
to this case? Okay.
I was.
How did your investigation fold with the Arapahoe County Sheriff's Office?
I got in touch with the investigators that were assigned to that case, and I informed him of my primary regulatory role in this situation. From their perspective, their primary concern was just getting this guy his stuff back at that point. It was fairly early on. We really didn't know much, but we kind of assisted each other in as we moved through this whole process.
Okay. And as part of your investigation, I wanted to, you mentioned Mr. Regal found a moving company. How did he come by? How did you find this moving company?
He found it on Craigslist. The ad was in the name of Ben and Michelle, or Ben and Marie, something to that effect.
Okay. Can we please take a look at staff's hearing exhibit 100? Investigator Potts, can you take a look at what is previously been marked as staff's hearing exhibit 100?
This is a screenshot of the advertisement Mr. Regals had captured and sent to me for the case file.
Okay, and can we scroll down just a little bit, a couple lines? There we go, thank you. How did you obtain this document?
Mr. Regals had sent it to me.
And did you keep this document in your case records in the regular course of your business?
Yes, I do.
And is it the regular practice of the commission to keep records like this during your investigation?
Yes, it is.
Your Honor, staff moves to admit hearing exhibit 100.
Okay, Ms. Rojas, do you have any objection to this being admitted into evidence in the proceeding?
Not that, but as far as what Mr. Joseph was saying, that was incorrect as what happened.
Okay,
Gentlemen,
Ms. Rojas,
yes, sir. The gentleman,
Mr. Rojas, let me
sir.
just explain real quick here that this is the chance where Ms. Hayden gets to ask Mr. Potts questions, and you will get a chance to ask Mr. Potts questions when she's done, and you'll
Okay, sir.
also have an opportunity to present your own evidence
Okay,
later
sir.
in the proceeding.
I apologize.
That's okay. I just wanted you understand the process, but I was asking right now for the exhibit itself, and I heard none. So hearing exhibit 100 will be admitted.
Investigator Potts, on page 1 of this exhibit, whose names are listed as to the contacts?
Excuse me, Ms. Hayden. I'm sorry. Let me interrupt. And it may be the appearance on my screen, but if I could ask Ms. Federico, I see this is a 2-page document. Could I see the entirety of the document? Can we scroll through the second page? Okay. Thank you for that. And excuse me, Ms. Hayden, you can proceed.
Thank you. If we could please scroll back up to page 1. Thank you. Investigator Potts? I'm sorry, can we back up just a little bit and scroll down just a little bit more? I'm looking for that contact information. Yes, right there. That would be great. Thank you. Investigator Potts, on page 1 of this exhibit, whose names are listed as the contacts for this advertisement?
Ben and Marie.
And were you able to verify that Ben and Marie are the Ben and Michelle Marie Rojas of Mean Momma?
Yes, I was.
And how did you make that connection?
I performed a reverse phone search of the phone number, and which produced records for Margarito Rojas.
And Ben, they are associated with Mean Momma Boss Bitch, is that right?
That is correct.
Okay, and this ad on Craigslist, does it indicate that they are offering to operate as movers and interstate
Yes, it is.
movers? Thank you. If we could take this down, please. Investigator Potts, do you know who issued that contract?
Mama Boss Moving.
Excuse me. Contract? I'm not sure where we've got the foundation for that question.
All right, Your Honor, let me back up, please. Excuse me. We'll take down Staff's Exhibit 100, the Craigslist ad. If we could please pull up Staff's Exhibit 101. And this is a one-page document if we could scroll through to the bottom. Investigator Potts, are you familiar with this document?
Yes, I am.
And how are you familiar with this document?
This is a screenshot that Mr. Regals had provided to me. This was a summary of the contract for the move.
And did you keep this document in your case records of the regular course of business?
Yes, I did.
And is it the regular practice of the commission to keep records such like this while you're investigating a CPAN?
Yes, it is.
Your Honor, staff moves to admit hearing Exhibit 101.
Mr. and Ms. Rojas, do you have any objection to the admission of Exhibit 101?
No.
Exhibit 101 is admitted.
Investigator Potts, do you know who issued this contract?
Mama Boss Moving.
Okay. And is Mama Boss Moving, based on your investigation, Mama Boss Bitch Moving as listed on the CPAN?
Mean Mama Boss Bitch Moving.
Right.
Very good. Just let me know.
And who are the parties to this contract?
Ben Rojas and Troy Regals.
And what does this agreement entail?
It's an agreement to pay $1,500 on April 11th for moving services.
And is it signed by Ben Rojas?
Yes, it is.
Do you know whether or not Mr. Regal signed this?
He informed me that he did. However, the actual contract itself, the link had expired by the time the complaint was filed, so he wasn't able to upload the actual document itself. He was able to just provide this summary that was still accessible to him.
All right, and this is a contract for Mean Mama Boss to move Mr. Regal for $1,500. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, if we could please take down Exhibit 101. Thank you. Did Mr. Regal pay Mean Mama Boss for the move that they conducted?
Yes, he did.
Can we please pull up staff's hearing Exhibit 102? If we could scroll through this 2-page document. Investigator Potts, please review this. Are you familiar with this document?
Yes, I am.
And how are you familiar with this document?
This is a photo that Mr. Regals provided to me of the receipt from Walmart after he had wired the money to the moving company.
Okay, and if we could scroll back up to page 1, what does this receipt indicate?
That $1,470 was transferred to a Christopher Way Williams at a Walmart here in Colorado.
Did you keep this document in your case records in the regular course of business?
Yes, I did.
And is it the regular practice of the commission to keep records like this during investigations for CPAN?
Yes, it is.
Your Honor, staff moves to admit hearing exhibit 102.
Mr. and Ms. Rojas, any objection to the admission of exhibit 102?
No,
What's that?
the receipt.
Exhibit 102 is admitted.
Investigator Potts, you had testified this was a receipt for the payment for the move to a Christopher Ray Williams, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
And is he an employee of Mean Momma Boss Bitch Moving?
That's what how I was informed he was.
Okay. And you said this was a Walmart to Walmart transaction, is that right?
That is correct.
Is that how do you know it was a Walmart to Walmart transaction?
I believe that's how Mr. Regals referred to it as, and I believe it's also printed on the receipt.
Okay. And do you know whether or not Mr. Wiegels was instructed to make payment in this way?
Yes, he was.
Okay. And were you able to verify that Mr. Regals then paid Mean Momma Boss Bitch for this move?
That is correct with this
Okay.
receipt.
As part of your investigation, if we could please take down exhibit 102. Thank you. Investigator Potts, as part of your investigation, did you run the business through the Secretary of State's website?
Yes, I did.
And why do you do this?
To find the business license for the company.
Okay. Can we please take a look at staff's hearing exhibit 103? Thank you. Investigator Potts, are you familiar with this document?
Yes, I am.
How are you familiar with this document?
This is the business license I was able to locate for the company through the Secretary of State's office.
And how did you obtain this document?
By searching for the company's name. Mr. Regals had also done the same and provided a separate copy to me as well.
Okay. And did you keep this document in your case records in the regular course of business?
Yes, I did.
And is it the regular practice of the commission to keep records like Secretary of State searches during CPAN investigations?
Yes, it is.
Your Honor, staff would move to admit hearing exhibit 103 into evidence.
Mr. and Ms. Rojas, any objection to admitting exhibit 103?
No.
Exhibit 103 is admitted.
Investigator Potts, whose name is the registrant for this document with the Secretary of State website?
Margarito Rojas?
And is that the same Margarito Rojas named in this CPAN?
Yes, it is.
How do you know Margarito B. Rojas is the Ben with Mean Momma?
Throughout the course of our investigation, I learned that this is the same Margarito that we were looking into. It was also the same information was provided to me from the Arapahoe County Sheriff's Office.
Okay. And you were able to verify and confirm that information?
Yes, I was.
And this is the same Ben from the Craigslist ad that was previously admitted into evidence?
Yes, it was.
All right, thank you. Could we please pull up staff's exhibit 107? Investigator Potts, I'd like to draw your attention to the CPAN that was issued in this case. This is a 3-page exhibit. Investigator Potts, what are we looking at here?
This is the civil penalty that I served to Mr. Rojas.
And did you prepare this document?
Yes, I did.
And if we could scroll down on the first page, a little bit farther down. Mr. Potts, is that your signature down there?
Yes, it is.
Do you draft CPANs in the regular course of the business for the PUC?
Yes, I do.
And does the commission keep records like the CPAN in the regular practice of its CPAN investigations?
Yes, they do.
Your Honor, staff would move to admit staff's hearing exhibit 107.
Mr. Ms. Rojas, any objection to admitting exhibit 107?
No.
No, Your Honor, I have no objections. I did sign the paper.
Exhibit 107 is admitted.
And Investigator Potts, you heard Mr. Rojas say that he signed this. Is that correct?
That's correct.
On this CPAN, does it indicate the date that you served this CPAN on the respondent?
Yes, it does. May 1st,
Of what year?
2024.
And on the CPAN, does it indicate how the CPAN was served on the respondent?
Yes, it does on page 2.
If we could please scroll down to page 2. And Investigator Potts, how was this CPAN served?
I personally served Mr. Rojas.
All right, thank you. If we could please scroll back up to the first page, I would like to draw your attention to the alleged violations in this case. Investigator Potts, the first violation in this case indicates a failure to maintain an evidence and file evidence of financial responsibility. Is that right?
Yes, it is.
Do the statutes and commission rules require movers to maintain and file evidence of financial responsibility with the commission?
Yes, they do.
And Michelle and Margarito, I'm sorry.
sorry?
I'll keep
Sir, I
going.
didn't.
I'm sorry, was there an interruption?
No, I didn't. I didn't hear what you said, ma'am. All I heard is show Margarito.
Okay. Ms. Hayden, if you'd perhaps repeat your question and we'll go from there.
Certainly. Do the statutes and commission rules require movers to maintain and file evidence of financial responsibility with the commission?
Yes, they do.
And do you know whether Michelle and Margarito Rojas were aware of this requirement previously?
Yes, I am.
And had they been issued a warning letter previously for not having insurance on file with the commission?
Yes, they were.
In investigating this case, were you able to find any proof of financial responsibility on file with the commission?
No, I was not.
What steps did you take to verify that?
I ran the carrier's name and information in our state databases to see if a profile for the company could be located.
Were you able to locate one?
No, I was not.
Okay. And what does that indicate to you?
That the company doesn't have a permit with the state to be performing moves.
Okay. Does that indicate that they also lack proof of insurance on file with the PUC?
That is correct.
Okay. What needs to be provided to the commission to show financial responsibility?
Proof of insurance?
Okay. And did Mean Momma Boss Bitch Moving ever provide you with proof of insurance during the time of your investigation?
No, they didn't.
Did Mean Momma Boss Bitch Moving ever file proof of insurance during the pendency of this case?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
And when was the last time you checked?
About 4 days ago, this past Thursday.
Okay. And as of that date, there currently still was no proof of insurance on file with the PUC for Mean Momma Boss Bitch Moving. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. If we could take a look at the second alleged violation, this is operating and or offering to operate as a mover in interstate commerce without first having obtained a permit. Is that right, investigator?
That is correct. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you brought that violation against Mean Momma Boss Bitch, is that right?
Yes, I did.
And do the statutes and commission rules require movers to obtain a permit before they operate as a mover?
Yes, they do.
Or even offer to operate as a mover, is that correct?
That's correct.
And were Michelle and Margarito Rojas aware of this requirement?
Yes, they were.
And based on your investigations, what steps did you take to determine whether a permit had been issued to Mean Momma Boss Bitch Moving?
Same process when researching insurance information. I ran the company's name in our computer system to see if a registry or profile could be located, which I couldn't find anything.
Okay. Did you run any other businesses with like names that could have been issued a permit?
Mhm.
I ran wildcard searches to see if the spelling had been off.
Okay. Any results there?
No results.
Okay. So based on your investigation, you came to the conclusion that Mean Mama Boss Bitch, Michelle Marie Rojas, and or Margarito Rojas did not have insurance on file with the PUC. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Nor did these parties have a permit on file with the PUC. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
And was that the reasoning for issuing a CPAN in this case?
Yes, it was.
Do you have any additional information to add at this time, Investigator Potts?
I'm aware that this is the second CPAN that's been issued to the company and to these respondents, as well as a previous warning letter that we just discussed.
Do you recall what that previous warning letter warned these parties about?
It warned them of operating or offering to operate as a moving carrier without a permit and insurance. The same charges alleged in the CPAN.
And in that instance, did that warning letter lead to a prior CPAN?
Yes, it did.
And in fact, did you issue notice of the decision in that case to these parties?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Did that aid you in your investigation in this case, Investigator Potts?
Yes, it did.
Do you have any recommendations for the ALJ today?
I would ask that the penalty, the full amount of the penalty be imposed and the respondents be ordered to cease and desist all moving operations.
Thank you, Your Honor. No further questions for this witness.
I have one. Do you have the proceeding number of the prior civil penalty to which you're referring to?
I do, Your Honor. That was something I was going to flesh out with Investigator Swint, but that proceeding number is 18G-0792HHG.
Okay, and Mr. Potts, when you testified that you gave notice of the decision in the prior proceeding, was that proceeding number that you were referring to 18G-0792HHG?
That sounds correct, sir. I don't have the documents in front of me, but it was at about that time.
Okay. Okay, Mr. and Ms. Rojas, now you have the opportunity to ask any questions you'd like of Mr. Potts regarding his testimony today. And if you have other matters you'd like to address to him, you would have to call him as part of your case. But right now, any questions you have about his testimony here?
Yes, sir, Your Honor. Okay, the date that they say that I moved Troy, did Troy inform him that I was holding his stuff for 3 days? Okay, he turned around and told me he wanted me to run it to Wyoming, then he would pay me. Okay, Troy's trying to say that if you look at the original report, the day that he paid me, that I had him send the money to the worker. Okay, prior to that, okay, I held U-Haul's truck for 3 days. Okay, to move his stuff to Wyoming. Finally, I got tired of it, and I said I was going to put it in storage.
Objection, Your Honor.
Mr. Rojas,
is there a question forthcoming?
I'll sustain the objection. Mr. Rojas, you will have an opportunity to testify.
Okay.
But right now, this part is only where you get to ask Mr. Potts questions about what he's testified to so far.
Okay.
If you want to address other matters, you'll have the opportunity to do that. But right now, it's just what Mr. Potts told us, and if you have any questions for Mr. Potts to answer.
I do apologize.
That's okay.
But I do. So Mr. Potts back, and I read that 2018. I had the violation against me then, and I was served. I was never served on that first violation that the state is claiming that it was. Because if I would have known that, I would have taken care of it immediately. So I don't know who got that, who they were served with, or who they served, but I never received that first violation back in 2018. So I don't know if he's personally served, or who did.
All right, this is a little hard because that's not quite the question to him. Because he's testified he wasn't involved in that case and he doesn't have any documents with it. So I
Okay.
realize we're both kind of in a hard spot figuring out what he's
Okay.
talking about. I think counsel indicated that another witness is going to talk more about that earlier case.
Okay.
And at this
Okay.
point, I don't know anything about the
So
case.
then no. Okay, so then no.
But I'll tell you what I am going to do because I don't want this to stand any longer. Bear with me just a minute. We'll be just a moment.
Okay.
Okay, I'm just reviewing the commission's files on proceeding number 18G-0792-HHG. And that case was against Michelle Marie Rojas doing business as 24-hour small moves. And the decision in the proceeding was decision number R190179. And so it'll take a minute to load, but let me get one more thing. And so, by the way, while I'm doing this, I'm going to take administrative notice of decision number R190179. And the certificate of service on that indicates that 24-hour small moves was served by U.S. mail at an address of 2121 West Custer Place in Denver, Colorado, 80223. So that gives us both a little information about that decision for the moment, Ms. Rojas, and we'll see what staff, additional testimony staff puts in the record about this.
Okay.
Any other questions for Mr. Potts right now?
No.
Okay, Ms. Hayden, any redirect?
Not at this time, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Potts, thank you for your testimony.
Thank you.
And Ms. Hayden, you can call your next witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. Staff calls Lloyd Swint to the stand.
Good morning, Mr. Swint. If you would please raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. A little hard hearing you. If you can maybe get a little closer to your microphone.
Thank you, Your Honor. Go ahead.
Thank you. Miss Hayden.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning. Can you please state and spell your name for the record?
I am Lloyd Swint. First name is spelled L-L-O-Y-D. Last is S-W-I-N-T.
Who is your current employer?
I'm employed by the Colorado Public Utilities Commission.
And what is your job title?
I am the manager of the Investigations and Compliance Unit.
And how long have you been with the PUC?
8 years.
Do you have any prior law enforcement experience?
I do. With the Lucas County Sheriff's Office in Toledo, Ohio, and I'm retired from the Arapahoe County Sheriff's Office in Arapahoe County, Colorado.
Thank you, Investigator Swint. Are you familiar with the moving company by the name of Mean Momma Boss Bitch Moving?
I am.
And are you familiar with Michelle and Margarito Rojas?
I am.
How are you familiar with these parties?
I, as previously testified to, I personally investigated a case back in 2018 involving both of these parties in a previous company that they owned.
Okay. In this current case, did you look into or investigate the legal relationship between Michelle and Margarito Rojas?
I did, in connection with the permit application that they eventually had filed.
Okay, and what prompted your investigation into Michelle and Margarito Rojas?
I wanted to verify that they were in a marriage relationship because of this current application that had been put before the commission to show a connection between the two of them and these cases that we, not only the case before us, but the case prior in 2018.
And to clarify, the application came after the issuance of the CPAN in the current matter before the ALJ, is that right?
That's correct.
Can we please take a look at staff's hearing exhibit 108? This is a 3-page document. Investigator Swint, are you familiar with this document?
I am.
How are you familiar with this document?
I produced this document when I went to the Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment to search for marriage records on Michelle Rodan and Margarito Rojas.
And did you keep this document in your case records in the regular course of business?
I did.
And is it the regular practice of the commission to keep records like this as
I
part of
did.
these CPAN
Yes, it is.
investigations?
I'm sorry. Yeah, it is.
Your Honor, staff moves to admit staff's exhibit 108, the public version.
Mr. and Ms. Well, let's see then. So is a confidential document available, or is the only exhibit going to be the public portion of this information?
There is a confidential, this is the there is a confidential exhibit, but we were going to rely solely on the public one here. I could upload the.
But let me ask that more specific. Are you relying on any of the redacted information for purposes of this case?
Not at all, Your Honor.
Okay. Then, Mr. and Ms. Rojas, do you have any objection to the admission of Exhibit 108?
No.
Exhibit 108 is admitted.
If we could please scroll through Exhibit 108. And Investigator Swint, can you explain what we're looking at here?
And if you stop there at that point, I can point out the names that I put into the CDPHE website of Margarito Joe Ralph Rojas and Michelle Marie Roldan with their dates of birth that are redacted. And the information that came back to me is that they were married on February 4th, 2017.
And why was it important to learn during your investigation the legal relationship between these parties?
I wanted to learn if the two of them were in business together as a married couple.
And what did you find?
And based on the records and the information available to me at the time, I can presume that they are a married couple and they were in business together.
Thank you. If we could please take down Exhibit 108. And Mr. Investigator Swint, based on your investigation, is the PUC aware of any other businesses owned and operated by Michelle and/or Margarito Rojas?
There had been several, and I found at least two of them in my prior investigation in 2018.
And what were the names of those businesses?
24-hour small moves. And during the course of that investigation, I learned of another company called Midnight Movers.
Okay. And are you aware of Denver Small Moves?
Yes.
And are you aware of Him and Her Movers?
Yes.
Can we please take a look at staff's hearing exhibit 104? Mr. Swint, did you hear Mr. Potts testify that accessing the Secretary of State's website is a common conduct of investigations in your field of work?
It is.
And have you referred to the Secretary of State's website during your investigations for the PUC?
I have.
This is a 2-page document. On page number 1, are you familiar with this document?
I am.
And how are you familiar with this document?
This is the business registration information for 24-hour small moves.
Okay, and do you access the Secretary of State website as part of your investigations into businesses?
I do.
And do you keep records like these in the ordinary course of your investigations?
I do. Yes.
If we could please scroll through and see page 2. Your Honor, staff would move to admit staff's hearing exhibit 104.
Any objection to the admission of exhibit 104?
No.
Exhibit 104 is admitted.
On page 1 of this exhibit, what is the trade name for this business, Investigator Swint?
Page 1 of this is 24-hour small moves.
And who is the registrant name for this business?
Michelle Marie Rojas.
Is that the same Michelle Rojas named in the current CPAN?
Yes.
And on page 2 of this exhibit, what is the name of the business?
On page 2, the name of the business is Denver Small Movers, LLC.
And who is the registered agent?
The registered agent is Michelle Marie Rojas.
And is that the same Michelle Rojas named in the current CPAN?
Yes,
Are the addresses for these two businesses the same?
they are. And that address is 2121 West Custer Place, Denver, Colorado, 80223.
And Mr. Swint, you are the Criminal Investigations and Compliance Unit Manager for the PUC, correct?
That's correct.
And you supervise a team of investigators?
I do.
And as part of a prior investigation, did you investigate Michelle and Margarito Rojas?
I did.
And as previously investigated, what did you find?
I found that in case number 122014, proceeding 18G-0792HHG, there was an allegation that they were operating a company called 24-hour small moves without a valid permit.
Okay, if we could please take down this exhibit and pull up staff's exhibit 105. Mr. Swint, does the PUC ever issue any warning letters to a business prior to issuing a CPAN?
They do.
Did the PUC ever issue a warning letter to Michelle Marie Rojas, to your knowledge?
There was a warning letter issued on May 7th of 2018.
And Investigator Swint, are you familiar with this document?
I am.
And how are you familiar with this document?
In my research of my case in 2018, I found this previous warning and I included that in my case investigation.
And that was included in the current investigation of Mean Momma Boss Bitch, is that correct?
That's correct.
To clarify? Okay.
Yep.
And did you keep this document in your case records in the regular course of business?
Yes,
And is it the regular practice of the commission to keep records like this in CPAN investigations?
it is.
Your Honor, staff would move to admit hearing exhibit 105.
Any objection to the admission of exhibit 105? Mr. or Ms. Rojas, any objection to the admission of exhibit 105? Hearing none, exhibit 105 is admitted.
Mr. Swint, who is this letter addressed to?
It is addressed to Michelle Marie Rojas at His and Hers Reliable Movers, Denver Small Movers, and 24-hour Small Moves at 2121 West Custer Place, Denver, Colorado, 80223.
And what information does this contain?
This contains and gives them notice that case number 121289 was investigated by then investigator Corey Bredzinski, and in his warning letter, he warns them that they must have a proper permit and proper insurance in order to operate as an HHG provider in the state of Colorado.
And that went to the registered agent for all of these named businesses, is that right?
That's correct.
Okay. And so, Mr. Swint, were you able to determine previously whether Michelle and or Margarito Rojas were operating without insurance and without a permit?
Relying on Investigator Brodzinski's letter dated May 7th of 2018, and based upon my research of the same companies in my complaint from July 19th of 2018, I was able to query the normal records of the Public Utilities Commission and determine that they were not in compliance and they did not have a valid permit.
And was a CPAN later filed against Michelle Rojas for operating without a permit and without insurance?
Yes,
Did that CPAN result in a judgment against Ms. Rojas?
it did.
Can we take a look at staff's hearing exhibit 106, please? Investigator Swint, what is this document?
This document is a Public Utilities Commission of the state of Colorado, proceeding number 18G-0792HHG. It's a recommendation of a decision of the Administrative Law Judge Robert I. Garvey assessing a civil penalty assessment, issuing a cease and desist order, and closing the proceeding against Michelle Marie Rojas doing business as 24-hour small moves.
And are you familiar with this document?
I am.
And is it the practice of the PUC to issue decisions like these in the regular course of its business activities?
Yes, it is.
Is it the practice of the PUC to maintain decisions as part of its records in the regular course of its business activities?
Yes, it is.
Your Honor, staff moves to admit hearing exhibit 106.
Okay, I'm actually going to deny that because I've admitted the document by administrative notice. However, I had not provided a copy of it yet. So we now have the Commission's decision R190179 marked as hearing exhibit 106, and it has already been admitted by administrative notice. Thank you.
Thank you. And Mr. Swint, this is the decision you received in your prior case, is that right?
That's correct.
And you sought a cease and desist order in that case, is that right?
I did.
And did the judge grant that cease and desist order?
He did.
Could we please scroll to page 11 of this current decision? And Mr. Swint, can you read into the record line 52?
Okay, let's not read a whole bunch of stuff into the record of what's already in the record. If you have a question about him, about that, maybe that Mr. Swint can answer, that'd be fine.
Yeah, Investigator Swint, did the ALJ agree to grant a cease and desist order in that case?
He did.
If we could please take down exhibit 106. And Investigator Swint, based on your investigation into Mean Momma Boss Bitch, do Michelle and Margarito Rojas continue to operate a moving company for household goods?
Did they continue? Yes, they did.
And based on your investigation into this current CPAN, were they operating Mean Momma Boss Bitch Moving?
Yes, they were.
And based on your investigation, did they in fact move household goods belonging to Mr. Regal to what ended up being a storage shed? Is that your understanding?
Yes.
Do you know whether or not Mr. Margarito Rojas and Michelle Rojas of Mean Momma Boss Bitch Moving ever had proof of insurance on file with the PUC?
To the best of my knowledge, no.
And were these parties ever permitted to conduct this move?
To the best of my knowledge, no.
And did you, are you relying on Investigator Potts' investigation or?
From my own research over the course of these investigations in our in-house data information terminals.
And so you were, like Investigator Potts, were unable to find any filing of insurance, correct?
That's correct.
Or any issuance of a permit, is that right?
That's correct.
And do you have any recommendations for the commission today?
I would ask that the ALJ consider the previous case that had already been ordered, and that previous order be reinstated in this case, and that Investigator Potts's civil penalty be assessed to the full amount, and that we once again renew a cease and desist to have any operations in the moving business in the state of Colorado.
Thank you, Mr. Swint. No further questions, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. and Ms. Rojas, do you have any questions you'd like to ask Mr. Swint about his testimony today?
No, I don't.
Okay, then,
Oh, yeah, the paperwork.
Mr. Swint.
Yeah, I do actually. So the first time, was he the one that was originally supposed to serve me for the first violation?
Mr. Swint, do you know how the civil penalty assessment notice was served in the prior case?
The civil penalty assessment was delivered to the address of 2121 West Custer on November the 8th, 2018 at 3:18 p.m. According to U.S. Postal Service records, that letter was left with an individual at the Custer address.
Okay. Yeah. I never received it. Okay, because I've never received that first original one. The only thing that I had ever gotten from the state was they told me I had to post breaks and a workman's comp somewhere in my house. But other than that, I never received any state paperwork.
Okay, any further questions?
No.
Okay, Mr. Swint, or any redirect, Ms. Hayden, on that?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Swint, thank you for your testimony.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And Ms. Hayden, any further witnesses?
No further witnesses, Your Honor. Would respectfully request to keep Mr. Swint and, Investigator Swint and Potts on call for any rebuttal if necessary.
Of course. Okay, Mr. and Ms. Rojas, you've now heard the case of staff and arguing the assessment of the penalties reflected in the civil penalty assessment notice. You now have an opportunity to testify yourself or to call any other witnesses you might like to present the defense of the case.
Okay. So, are you ready?
Yes, but I need to know where we're going. Who's going to testify first?
Do you want to go first, or do you want me to?
Oh, I'll go.
Okay, my husband.
All right.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. So
now
let me just real quickly say, this is kind of weird, not weird, but you don't have a lawyer. So rather than trying to ask yourself questions, I'll allow you to just make a statement. Counsel for staff may interrupt you at times. If they do, you'll need to stop talking so I can hear what they might need to say, and we'll address that and then come back to you. So you can just present your testimony in the form of a statement, and we'll go from there.
Okay, Your Honor, I throw myself at the mercy of the court. I didn't know that we had to have a PUC. Okay, I've worked for other moving companies before that, they don't have a PUC. All they told me is I had to be signed up with the Secretary of State. Okay. And what? And we do have insurance. We try to present it to the PUC for this one. We were trying to do everything right. You know what I mean? And, when we try to explain to them and everything, we do have insurance from Hitchhawk and insurance. They're trying to say that we don't. And this gentleman, Troy, I kept the stuff for 3 days. I told him, I said, look, Sir Troy, I said, I cannot keep the stuff that long because I am paying out of pocket for this U-Haul truck. I get out here and I try to find the work to work because I'd rather be out there working than getting in trouble. It's just, I don't know. It's just trouble when I was a kid, but I'm a lot older now. I got more sense now. You know what I mean? I'm not, some dumb young kid, but I don't know if Troy informed the gentleman that, if you look at the dates and everything on the paperwork about when did we load him up and when did he send the money, you will see there was a 2-day gap between there. Okay, then I told him, so I said, Troy, I cannot deliver the rest of the stuff because the first day we were there for like 8-9 hours. And he knew this, you know what I mean? And he was pertaining to, he didn't want to pay, so he didn't pay for like 3 days later. Okay, I had to get U-Haul their truck back because they're, complaining about me, telling me, well, this and that. So, and I'm not trying to get in trouble. So I unloaded their stuff into his stuff into his storage and took U-Haul their truck back. And like I said, I didn't know, about PUC. But we did have insurance at the time. And we try to present it to PUC and they keep trying to tell us that we don't have it.
Okay, do you have that a document showing your insurance coverage available?
I tried also to upload it this morning. I don't know if you received it. If it went through, but
Okay.
it shows that it was on there. It went through finally.
And Your
Okay,
Honor, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I don't believe that Mr. Rojas was ever sworn in.
Oh, my apologies. Thank you, Ms. Chong. Ms. Rojas, I'm sorry I didn't swear you in at the beginning of your testimony. Can I ask you to raise your right hand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
Okay, and so you've been testifying up till this point. Is all of that testimony you presented true to the best of your knowledge, information, and belief?
Yes, Your Honor, it is. You know,
Okay, thank you.
because I was just saying, I have, sorry.
Oh, that's okay. I just wanted to say, make sure that meant your testimony was provided under oath.
Yes,
Let me go to Ms. Frederico.
Yes.
Do we have a document in the box folder for the respondents?
There's just one. It is not, labeled or titled as an exhibit, but I will pull up what is in there.
Okay, let's do that. And while we're doing that, Ms. Chung, has council pre-marked any exhibits after, I believe we were on 108, if I'm remembering correctly?
Yes, Your Honor. We have a hearing exhibit 109 and 110.
Okay,
That's pre-marked.
thank you. So we will. Okay, so Mr. Rojas, I'm seeing a document dated April 3rd, 2024, Certificate of Property Insurance. Is this the document that you were referring to, demonstrating insurance coverage?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, we'll refer to this for purposes of our hearing as Exhibit 111. And tell me what this is again, Mr. Rojas?
It's insurance for the company for, it's mover insurance, okay? It's insurance.
Okay, and I see the insured is Mean Momma Boss Moving.
Yes, sir. And
is that the same?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is that the same company that we're talking about here? Or I need to get my document back. Mean Momma Boss B1tch Moving?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. And so I'm just going to take a moment if we can scroll down through this, Ms. Federico. Okay. Thank you, Ms. Federico. And Mr. Rojas, I presume you would like to offer this into evidence?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Chung, do you have any objection to the admission of hearing exhibit 111?
No objections.
It will be admitted. Thank you.
Can I just add something to my statement, Your Honor?
Absolutely. You're still testifying. You can continue.
Okay. And like I said, I do apologize, like I said, about all this, PUC. I didn't realize else the documents would have been in order. Okay. I've worked for multiple moving companies and I've had multiple moving companies pass my name on to other people because I'm good at what I do. I mean, I move food tables, gun safes, hot tubs, pianos. I do it all. You know what I mean? I stack pack trucks like you would not believe. I I use every little space. I pack it tighter than a sardine can. I mean, I just don't know what else to say. I'm at fault. Maybe I should look into this more in order to find out all the requirements and all that. But all I was thinking about, because I got sick parents, all I was thinking about was, trying to help them out, work to help them out and everything. And, so we could survive, me and my wife, because we were going through some hard times back then, survive, me and my wife, and try to make a honest living.
Okay. Thank you. Do you have anything further, Mr. Rojas, that you'd like to say? Because then I'm going to ask Ms. Chung if she has any questions for you.
I don't, Your Honor.
Okay. Ms. Chung, any cross-examination?
Yes, Your Honor, briefly. Mr. Rojas, my name is Aileen Chong. I'm an Assistant Attorney General representing staff in this proceeding. Just a couple of follow-up questions based on your testimony today. So you did conduct a move for Troy Regals, correct?
Yes, ma'am, I did. And the move, right, he said he paid that day and he didn't. He gave me the runaround for 3 days. I had to give the truck back to U-Haul, so I unloaded everything into a storage.
So you did conduct a move for him,
Yes,
despite the disputes in it. Okay. And you had testified that you didn't know the requirement about a PUC permit. So did you have a PUC permit when you conducted the move for Mr. Regals?
I did not, because I didn't know about it.
Thank you. And referring back to the exhibit that you had entered with regards to the insurance, did you ever file this proof of insurance with the commission?
What do you mean, with the commission with PUC?
Yes.
We tried, but PUC kept trying to say that we don't have insurance, and we do. Until this date, even though I ain't been doing nothing, I've been doing odd jobs here and there. To this date, we still have it. We're still paying for it.
So you were never able to file insurance with the commission, correct?
We tried, but they turned around trying to tell us, like I said, ma'am, they were trying to tell us that we don't have it. We tried to file it with them. We tried filing it. My wife tried filing it with the investigators, the whole nines, everything. And they're trying to say that we didn't have it, and we did at that time.
So as it stands right now, there is no insurance filed with the commission, given the issues that you ran into.
Okay, so I didn't know, like, directly to file directly
And
with.
I'm
Your Honor, I
sorry,
would
Ms.
ask to-
Rojas. Ms.
Huh?
Rojas, sorry to interrupt. You will have an opportunity to testify, but right now these questions are only directed to Mr. Rojas. So if he doesn't know something or whatever, he can testify to the best of his ability, and then by all means, you'll have an opportunity to testify.
Right, so we tried, sir, time and time again. When the investigator called, they talked to the investigator, trying to tell them about we did have insurance. They're trying to tell us, well, you guys don't have it and all this other stuff. And you can refer to my, questions about this can be answered to my wife, because she's the one that did try to follow the insurance, and they kept trying to tell her, well, you guys don't have it, and we do, and we still do, even though I ain't been doing nothing.
Great. Thank you.
Thank
No
you.
more questions, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Rojas, this is the last portion of your testimony. If there's anything else you have to testify in response to the questions Ms. Chung just asked.
I mean, why? I mean, I just don't understand that, I understand everybody's got a job to do, but, when we're trying to sit there and, file something, Ms. Chong, why is it trying to say that we didn't have it at that point in time when we did?
All right. Okay, Mr. Rojas, I thank you for your testimony. And now, Ms. Rojas, did you intend to testify next?
Yes.
Okay, I'll start at the beginning. If you would this time, raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. And again, you can just provide a statement of your testimony.
Okay, so back in 2018, he just for me. Back in 2018, I never myself received the paperwork for the first violation. And I'm going to be totally honest. This is the first time me managing or running a moving company. So there is still things till this day that I am learning. And from my understanding, I understood that all we had needed was either DOT, and we didn't need a PUC number since we were moving in-state. And after speaking with the investigator, I have those two mixed up. The interstate and interstate, I had backwards. So that's why I've never pursued to get a PUC. And again, if I would receive that paperwork back in 2018, I certainly would have done that. And now was it, because as you see this time when we got the violation, I immediately jumped on it. I mean, it's nothing that I was trying to run from. As soon as I knew that that's what were needed, I got it. So, excuse me. And then as far as the insurance, and the reason why is I run all the insurance. My husband only just does the move. I just send him out. So he has nothing to do with anything. So I didn't want him to give you any misleading information. I did not physically go on to PUC and input the insurance information on there because I was never told to do that. All I was told was to just provide the document here. And when I was told to upload and to request the hearing, that was a whole nother thing. It took me 4 days to contact somebody to even tell me how to get up there to file the hearing. And I had to contact some lady that wasn't even in the department because I couldn't get anywhere with nobody. So that's that part of it. I don't know too much about Troy, so I can't comment on that. But we do have insurance. We had it the day the violation, they're saying that was violated. And if Mr. Potts did this search, like he said, I don't understand why he didn't find it because it's under the same Mean Momma Boss Moving. So I don't know why he couldn't find it when he looked it up.
Okay, you mentioned that you applied for a permit. Do you have a copy of that application?
My husband did, and that's what I was trying to find last night, and I couldn't find. I don't even so long ago. And with the move, with us moving, I couldn't physically locate that. I know it was like $350 to apply.
Okay. Tell you what we're going to do. It's kind of mid-morning here. I'm going to take a 10-minute break. And Ms. Chong, if an application was indeed filed in the commission's records, would you be able to provide a copy of the application, say after a break in 10 minutes or so?
Yes, I believe that we'll be able to look that up.
Okay. So why don't we take a 10-minute break? I'd appreciate it if staff would provide a copy of that application, and we will resume the hearing with Ms. Rojas's testimony.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
We'll take a 10-minute break. Thank you.
Okay.
In the meantime, we're going to continue the webcasting, so you want to be sure to mute your microphone, turn off your camera, that kind of thing if you want, because we'll be broadcasting during the break.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Ms. Federico?
Yes.
I'm trying to drop the requested document by the ALJ into the box.com, but I don't see any place to add to it. Can you assist with that?
So it's the same place you put the others in. It would go in there.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay, Tracy, are you ready?
I am ready.
Thank you. All right, we'll go back on the record and proceeding 24G-0194HHG. Ms. Chong, were you able to find that application?
Yes, Your Honor, we were able to do that and we pulled it into the Dropbox.
Okay. And so we'll mark and reference that as hearing exhibit 112. And Ms. Federico, if you could please display hearing exhibit 112 for us.
So there's two documents in there, Ms. Chong. There's a permit denial and then an application. In this, it has this proceeding number in it. Is that the one you want, or do you want the denial letter?
If you could just display the application, we'll be presenting the other exhibit in rebuttal testimony.
Okay, and Ms. Rojas, we're going to be continuing your testimony. I'll remind you, you remain under oath. And just like you to review this document with me and see if this appears to be the content of your application that you referred to before we took our break.
Yes.
So Ms. Federico, if you'll scroll through this. Okay, scroll that down quickly, Ms. Federico. I just noticed a public, I believe some personal, identifiable personal shoot, the acronym's missing. Some identification information that needs to be redacted. So I don't want to resolve that right now in a public session. So bear with me one moment.
Okay.
Do you want me to take it off the screen, Judge?
Yeah, let's do that.
And Your Honor, understanding that this exhibit is not staff's exhibit, I will just note that upon a review of the contents of it, there's nothing that staff would personally redact in this document. And I do believe that our client also said that there's nothing confidential in it.
Thank you for that clarification. I thought I saw something. I'm just going to review it real quick.
No, they denied it. They denied it.
Okay, let's, sorry, we just started, but I'm going to go off the record just a moment and we'll be back.
Even off record. I don't know why it denied it, and that's I don't know how. Then what are we supposed to do?
Ms. Rojas, you're not on mute. We can hear
Oh,
you.
I'm sorry. Sorry.
Okay, you still with me, Tracy? Saw you go off mute, so I think well, please
Oh,
confirm.
I said
please.
yes. Sorry
Okay,
about that.
thank you. That's okay. Okay, we'll go back on the record. I believe there's a number included in the document that I've asked Ms. Federico to redact. I believe I know what that number is, and whether I do or not, I don't think it affects the use of the document for purposes of the hearing. So, Ms. Federico, I'll ask you to, if you would, display the document again. And if you would scroll through it one more time to let everyone see. Okay, and then I'll ask again, Ms. Rojas, does this appear to be the information regarding the application you referred to?
Yes.
Okay. And Ms. Federico, if you go back to the top of the document. Okay. So is there any objection to the admission of hearing Exhibit 112?
No objection.
Exhibit 112 is admitted. Okay, and Ms. Rojas, I think I got us into this, but did you have anything else you wanted to add in your testimony right now?
No.
Okay. Okay, so tell me about this application. It looks like it was filed on May 1st. And it appears that it was dismissed in the status. Do you know why it was dismissed?
No, I don't.
And if you could scroll down, Ms. Federico. Okay. All right, you can take that off the screen now. Thank you. Okay. Ms. Chung, any cross-examination?
Yes, Your Honor, thank you. Ms. Rojas, your company Mean Momma Boss Bitch conducted a move for Troy Regals, correct?
Yes.
And you testified that in the past you had never pursued to get a PUC permit until recently, correct?
Correct.
And if we could pull up what's been admitted as hearing Exhibit 112 again. And this application was submitted on May 1st, 2024, correct?
Correct.
This was after you had conducted the move for Troy Regals, correct?
Yes.
Thank you. You had testified that you made efforts to upload insurance, correct?
Yes.
And you made efforts to upload insurance for this particular proceeding, correct?
Yes, because that's what you guys had required, or it was as evidence, I should say.
Okay, great. But insurance is not currently on file with the commission, correct?
No, and I don't know how to do that. Once again, I'm still learning as I go, so.
Okay, thank you. No further questions, Your Honor.
Okay, Ms. Rojas, is there anything further you'd like to offer for your own testimony now in response to the questions Ms. Song has asked?
No, but I mean, if somebody can direct me and tell me how to go on to file with PUC for the insurance, so it's on file.
Okay. Okay. Well, we may be able to give you some more information about that, but it's really outside of this case for the moment.
Okay.
So I'll then ask you, do you have any other witnesses that you would like?
No.
Okay. All right, that then will rest the defendant's case, the respondent's case, and Ms. Chong, any rebuttal?
Yes, Your Honor, staff does intend to do rebuttal, and I believe Ms. Hayden will be conducting that.
Okay. Ms.
Yes,
Hayden.
Your Honor. Staff will call Lloyd witness to the stand. Or Lloyd
Who?
Swint. Lloyd Swint, my apologies.
Okay, Mr. Swint, I'll remind you to remain under oath. And Ms. Hayden.
Mr. Swint, do you have any knowledge of this application by Mean Momma Moving Company?
I do.
What information do you have?
Two things occurred. One, when the application was filed, I was notified by our administrative staff because of prior notes in the file for Margarito Rojas, that there was an application pending, and I had knowledge of the previous CPAN that had not been paid, so I intervened in the application process.
And how did you intervene?
I requested that a denial letter be sent to the applicant, Margarito Rojas, and that letter was eventually sent on June 5th of 2024 to Margarito Rojas and Mama Boss Moving at their current address.
And did you make the decision to deny that permit?
It was my decision to take it forward, and in concurrence with our Chief of Transportation, Nate Riley, we made the determination that because the previous CPAN from the 2018 case had not yet been paid, we would not issue them a permit until that case was resolved.
So are these parties even eligible to apply for a permit?
Not right now.
Okay. They weren't eligible to apply on May 5th of 2024, is that correct?
Correct.
And that was the same date the CPAN in this case was served, is that right?
I have knowledge that on that date, when the CPAN was served on May the 1st, Margarito Rojas asked Investigator Potts if applying for a permit would make things better for him in this hearing. And I don't know what Investigator Potts's exact reply was, but I know that he mentioned that it wouldn't hurt if he made the application.
And then that's when you entered and pieced together your investigation as far as the relationship and prior business activity, is that right?
Exactly.
Okay. Does a moving company have to have a permit in place in order to file insurance with the PUC?
Yes.
And in fact, a moving company itself would not file that insurance, is that right?
That's correct.
Doesn't, under the rules, an insurance carrier have to file the Form E on behalf of the moving company itself?
Yes, it does.
All right. No further questions, Your Honor.
Okay, Ms. Rojas, did you have any questions for Mr. Swint or clarifications of his testimony that you'd like to ask?
Okay, so from my understanding that we are not going to be able to apply for a PUC until the past balance is due or paid.
Are you asking me a question, ma'am?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Yes, that prior case will have to be resolved before we will even consider issuing you a new permit.
Okay, so now is that case is tied into this one, correct? So I don't have to go and do a whole nother case for this one separate?
The case from 2018 will have to be resolved, namely by fully paying the civil penalty that was imposed upon you at the time.
Okay. Okay, now our payments or be able to make payments, or what is the requirements for that?
I would have to coach you. I could coach you through that at a different time.
Okay. That's it.
Okay, any redirect?
Mr. Swint, are you aware whether or not a denial letter was sent in that as it pertains to the application?
Yes, it was a denial letter was sent. dated June 5th, 2024, to Margarito Rojas at Mama Boss Moving, 715 Kipling Street, number 117 in Lakewood, notifying him that the application was being denied because of the prior case that had not yet been resolved.
And is that the address on the, was it mailed to the address? How was it sent to that address?
It was sent U.S. mail to the address of record.
And that was the address listed on the application?
That's correct.
Could we please pull up exhibit, what staff will call 113, labeled the denial letter?
To be clear, you didn't title it and header label it as 113, correct?
I didn't. Nope. I just on the fly assigned that to it. I think we're up to 113. Staff would respectfully request to pull up that denial letter. That I believe it's labeled denial letter.
Yeah.
Investigator Swint, are you familiar with this letter?
I am.
How are you familiar with this letter?
In conference with Chief of Transportation Nate Riley, that letter was agreed upon, and Nate Riley composed that letter and sent it to Mr. Rojas.
Was that based on your recommendation?
Yes.
And do you keep this document in your case records in the regular course of business?
Yes.
And is the regular practice of the commission to keep such records like this in the regular course of its business?
Yes.
Your Honor, staff would respectfully request to label this as staff's hearing exhibit 113 and admit the denial letter into evidence.
Okay, we have the denial letter dated June 5th, 2024, and household goods permit application 1021800. That will be referred to as hearing exhibit 113. Ms. Rojas, any objection to the admission of exhibit 113?
No.
And Mr. Swint, does this have
Oops,
some?
ma'am, Ms. Hayden, exhibit 113 is admitted. Ms. Hayden.
Thank you, Your Honor. And Mr. Swint, does this provide additional information to the respondents on how to move forward should they choose to do so?
It does.
Thank you. No further questions, Your Honor.
Okay. Staff have any further witnesses?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, that brings the evidentiary portion of the hearing to a close. I'll take the matter under advisement and issue a written recommended decision. In the meantime, Ms. Rojas, I think the testimony addressed your inquiry, and you might, of course, feel free to either contact staff for additional information, or you might want to have your own attorney review the circumstances as well, of course. But that would be a new permit would not be part of this case. It may be relevant to this case, but it wouldn't be approved or denied in this. So it would be something new. And with that, I believe that'll bring the hearing to a close. Is there anything further that either party, any party, needs to raise before we end the hearing?
Your Honor, can I say something?
Yes, Mr. Rojas.
So that means that I have to pay off the fines before we can actually get another permit, correct?
I believe that's consistent with the testimony that Mr. Swint provided. However, I can't really give you legal advice. So yeah, I'd encourage you to perhaps follow up with additional information, or you might ask an attorney to review your own situation.
All right, yeah, because like I said, I mean, it's nothing personal, Your Honor. It's just that, we live in the Colfax and Kipton area, like towards Sheridan. I see so many people out here that don't even want to, get their lives, don't want to work, don't want to do nothing. Here I'm out here trying to do an honest day's work for an honest day's pay. busting my butt 24/7. You know, I have to. You know, I mean, before they turn on told us that we can't operate no more. There's times I've been out here for like 19, 18, 20 hours straight. You know what I mean? Moving people's furniture. And it just kind of hurts me because, but I understand again, it's the law, you know, that you've got requirements. Now I understand what I have to do in order to pertain a mover's permit.
Yeah, and I've understood your testimony and during the evidentiary portion of the hearing, and one thing that I will be taking into consideration and weighing are both mitigating and aggravating circumstances that led to this situation and to today's hearing. And so I will be giving that consideration.
You know, we're not running nothing, Your Honor. We're here, you know, with the court proceeding and all that, because when we actually got served with it, you know, personally, and you know, the court date was set up and everything, so we're actually here. We're not trying to run from it or anything. You know, we understand we made a mistake and learn from our mistakes and pay the fines or whatever we got to do to get that operator's permit.
Right. Okay. Well, again, I appreciate the testimony today, the evidence presented, and I will issue a written recommended decision. And with that, I wish you all a good day.
I think you froze after you said, I appreciate the testimony.
Oh, well, okay. Well, I don't know what it said. I do appreciate the testimony and the presentation of the case today and the appearances of the parties. And with that, I'll thank you and wish you all a good day.
Thank
We're
you.
in recess.
Yes, Your Honor. Have a blessed day.
I guess we wait and see what his verdict is. Pretty much, I thought that